Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Paddock. This week in math we're going to be learning about weight, specifically heavy and light things. So for example, an elephant is a lot heavier than a mouse, right? It's kind of common sense. I have a story for us and it is called Weight, and it is a math counts book. Hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. It's by Henry Pluckrose. Weight is a measuring word. We weigh things to find out how heavy they are. Why do we need to measure weight? Doctors check the weight of babies to make sure that they're growing properly. We weigh ingredients when we cook. Only a small quantity of flour is needed to make a cake. We weigh small quantities in ounces or grams. The flour is being weighed before it is sent to the bakery. Large quantities of flour are needed to make all the bread sold in a supermarket. Large quantities are weighed in pounds or kilograms. Everything weighs something. Even very light things like letters or postcards. So even that weighs something. So this is a scale, right? There are lots of letters and postcards in the mail bags. Why are the bags so heavy? Well, when they all add up, right, it becomes heavy. Sometimes we can guess the weight of things. Which do you think is lighter? Is it the feather or is it the stone? Which one is lighter? Yeah, the feather is lighter than the stone, right? How would you make sure that you have guessed correctly? Well, you would use a scale, of course, right? And you can see that the scale, this one went down, right? The rock is heavier, so whatever goes down means it's the heavier one, and it tells you the weight here too. Guessing that one thing is heavier than another is not always easy. How will you find out for sure which pile of tea is heavier? So here's dry tea, and it's loose leaf. This is ones that are in little bags. So which one is going to weigh more? It's kind of hard to tell. So here, you could put a stone in one pan of the scale. Which one is heavier? Well, these tea bags, it's the loose tea that's heavier. It's the same stone. So this one, it was still up. So the stone was heavier, but this one, the loose tea went down, right? So it's the loose tea that's the heavier one, right? Because the rock is up higher. But stones come in different weights. So standard weights are used to measure heaviness. We use ounces and pounds. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Many countries, like Canada, we use grams or kilograms. 1,000 grams makes 1 kilogram. So these are the special weights that we use on these scales. A kilogram of apples weighs exactly the same wherever you buy it. So here you could see that weight there. It says 1 kilogram. So if you want to make sure that it's even, so that it's equal, so it's at 0, so they're both the same on both sides, this amount of apples equals 1 kilogram, okay? Because the scale is balanced. And, sorry, should show that. And you can actually see the scale here. It's kind of hard to see, but this one here, if it's right in the middle, the line goes right in the middle, that tells us that these two are equal. They're balanced out. Okay. Now here, if the apples were heavier than 1 kilogram, the scales would not be balanced. And so you can see, these one, it's heavier, right? So this scale is going down, this one is going up. And even this part is kind of tilted, isn't it? And then if you look carefully at that part here, so it's not at the 0 anymore, right? So it means it's not balanced. It's going over more to the apples. So it means that the apples are heavier than the 1 kilogram weight. Now here, if the apples were lighter than 1 kilogram, the scales would not balance either. So the same thing, but in reverse, right? Now that 1 kilogram is heavier than just those 3 apples. And you could see it's up higher. And again, if you look here, now that little needle is pointing that way to the kilogram, right? Instead of to the apples. So the apples are lighter than that kilogram. You can use scales to compare the weights of different things. A kilogram of apples is as heavy as a kilogram of potatoes. So even though it looks like we have more potatoes here, they are exactly the same weight, right? 1 kilogram of potatoes, and that equals the same on that side, okay? So they are equal there. Would a kilogram of rice weigh more or less than the same as a kilogram of cheese? Well, they weigh the same, right? Yeah, good. It is important to know how heavy things are. Clerks often weigh food when they sell it. We pay for the weight of food that we buy. So for example, maybe you're buying bananas. Then the cashier will weigh the bananas that your mom or dad have bought, right? Even when food is sold in packages, the weight of the contents is marked on the label. So it usually says somewhere on the label how much is in there, okay? And usually it'll say, for example, this here, the salt, we have 750 grams in there. And they may have different measurement units, but so this pasta here too, it's 453 grams, right? Kind of hard to see, but there you go. So check out next time you're looking at some food, see if you can see how many grams are in there. Luggage is weighed at the airport before it is loaded onto the plane. If the plane were overloaded, it could not fly safely. Trucks and vans must not be overloaded either. This small truck could not carry something as heavy as this. So it could only carry so much, but it couldn't carry, for example, look at that, it's like a big boat there, right? You need a bigger truck to carry that. A crane operator has to be sure that the crane is strong enough to lift the weight of the goods it is moving. So it needs to be just right. If it's too heavy, this whole crane could break. And of course that's bad, right? Signs next to some bridges tell drivers the weight that each bridge can support. A very heavy truck could not travel over this bridge. The bridge would not be able to hold its weight. Okay, so 7.5 tons. So for example, this bridge could only hold that much. If it's over that, then it could collapse. So it even says here, it's a weak bridge. So basically, if you're a big truck, a big and heavy truck, don't go over it. Some people lift heavy weights as a sport. How heavy were you when you were last weighed, when you went to the doctors, for example? Are you heavier now? Yeah, you probably are, right? Because you've probably been eating lots and lots of good food since you've been home, right? And as you're growing, you are getting heavier, right? You're not like when you were a baby, right? There you go, my friends. I hope you learned a few things about weight. Have a great day. Enjoy it. Love you and miss you all. Bye-bye.